This is where you subscribe for daily Bitcoin updates and technical analysis. We track the price of Bitcoin as a proxy for the cryptocurrency markets at large. Today is March 4th, 2025. And this is maybe a bit of an unpopular opinion, but based off of what I'm seeing in the markets and what I've seen in the markets my whole career doing this cryptocurrency analysis and market analysis, despite what's going on in the world and the sort of the fundamental aspects that would affect markets, typically speaking, the charts are showing you what is likely to happen, and that typically plays out where, and I'm going to explain more in the charts, but my sense is this: where the macro, where the fundamental aspects affect the charts is in how it happens, not necessarily what happens. What happens, we can get straight off the charts. And that's what I want to talk to you about today in what's happening with Bitcoin. Actually, if you watched last episode and you actually paid attention, what happened is exactly what we said was likely to happen with Bitcoin specifically. We'll get to altcoins in a second. Guys, I hope everyone's doing well. Let's get straight into the analysis. Well, we're on the daily time frame, and so I started the video with that to say this. We said Bitcoin was likely going to effectuate an ABC zigzag, right? Basically a correction down to our target of 65 to 70K. But when it got here, we said, okay, we're likely going to put in a relief rally to about 93 or 94.3, I think I said. 94.3 should be the top. And I measured that using a Fibonacci level from the top here to the bottom there, and saying, well, that 0.618 phi ratio should be the top, right? And so I gave you a range of Bitcoin's top for this B wave of anything between 91 and 94.3. You can check. I'm not going to be obnoxious and waste your time and splice in that video. You can check the last video I made. I said specifically I'm expecting Bitcoin to relief rally to between 91 and 94.3. What we got on Sunday, I believe it was that move between 91 and 94.3, and it actually hit 94.3 on the dot. As you can see right there, it found resistance at the phi ratio. Okay, I don't think it's over, and I'm going to explain why. Okay, now back to what I started the video with. The charts are explaining what will happen, and typically good technical analysis lets you know what's going to happen, but it doesn't let you know how it's going to happen. Not always. And there's always, so I say that to mean, despite great technical analysis, you're still in the dark as to how it happens, and a lot of times the how is really what you want to know, right? What? Crypto's gonna go up immensely, in the near future. Yeah, we all know that. But how is it going to go up? Is it gonna go up soon? Is it going to go up before going down? Like, how? That question is still a mystery, right? But the what is still good, because some people don't even have that answered. Now, so we explain the what, saying we're likely going to get Bitcoin to do that. And I'll say this, going on the 4-hourly time frame, remember, B waves, right, like this, are corrective. What does that mean? Basically, corrective price action is capricious. It is unpredictable. It's messy. It's tough to say exactly how it's going to look. That's the how. I think when you look at the macro, when you look at the clown show that is the American economy right now, it explains the how, right? A tweet or whatever, a social media post at around 10 a.m. exactly explaining some sort of uh, national reserve for crypto happens, and you get the beginning of the B wave. You're going to get a B wave anyway, but then that really sparked it literally exactly when that post happened. So people always ask, do you believe in the macro? How far does the macro affect what happens in the chart? Again, I think it affects how things work, but the what was always there. And so that's exactly what happened. Was it going to go up eventually? Yeah, I think so. But it went up specifically at exactly the same time that that post by the American president was issued. Do I think that's coincidence? I don't. So there, boom, you got to move. But was that move it? No, because it's a corrective pattern. And corrective patterns, despite being capricious, despite being unpredictable, which means the same thing, they happen in flavors of three. Which flavor of three are you going to get? Are you going to get a flat correction? Are you going to get another zigzag? Or are you going to get a triangle? Highly unlikely that you're going to get a triangle. It's either going to be, more likely than not, a flat correction or a zigzag. Still, with those two options, there are a plethora of different ways that it can play out. So you've got one leg, and then you've got a second leg that came to the 786 of this first leg. Likely, you're going to get something like this. So based off of what we have here on the charts, I would venture to say that the price action isn't irregular. It both is and isn't. People are saying, oh, this is manipulation. This is proof that the crypto market is affected completely by what people tweet and what people say and, people's pumps and dump schemes. Yes and no. Again, the what was always going to play out, and actually it didn't go any higher than the chart said it should go. Had it broken this resistance, and remember, why are we saying that 94.3 is the top? For those of you who may not remember, it's quite simple. If you look at Bitcoin's, let's go on the daily, we've assumed that too much. If you go on the daily, you see that Bitcoin's been under this parabolic resistance, forming this distribution channel for about 100 days, okay? And that parabolic resistance, as demarcated by this dotted line, is quite clear. That parabolic resistance of 100 days is staunch resistance. In addition to that, you have a 100-day channel that I drew here with this red rectangle. And if you know anything about channel trading, which, this is a channel of 100 days, you broke down from the channel. Before leaving the channel, you have to retest the bottom before dumping, before breaking down completely from the channel, right? You've already tested the midline here. Now you broke down from it. The last and final retest of the channel is the bottom of the channel's range. Now you can pull out your move. Okay, so I think that was always the analysis. That was always the thesis, right? The channel trading setup is one I talk about pretty much every episode, and that's consistent. That's the what. The how is trickier. The how, right here, that was tricky. This was tricky. And now we're not done because, again, I'm looking for flavors of three, okay? And for me, that was 1, 2, I'm looking for a third, okay? So I'm looking for that third move up before our final move down. In somewhere in here, altcoins have got to go because they're still on support. Because this is going to not only make Bitcoin go down 30+%, but the entire market is going to follow suit. And it can't follow suit on support. They have to move out from support. That's always been the thesis. That's always been the what. Now, explaining just how that's going to happen, when that's going to happen, that's a different story. I really want to disambiguate what I do as a technical, uh, as a technician of the charts in, from crystal ball reading. This isn't crystal ball reading. And I'm not flip flopping left and right and changing my calls. I've been calling the breakdown from this top distribution for months. You can check the record on the channel. For months, I've been saying this is going to happen more likely than not. But the how, right? And people dog me on that. Like, hey, you didn't get exactly how. Well, fucking sue me. This is a work in progress. I literally have to, just like you, look at the charts, look at the price action as it forms, and make a best guess, just like I'm doing with this B wave right here. I know it's a B wave more likely than not. I know that we're capped at 94.3. Now it's a question of what will it look like exactly? How will it matriculate back to this resistance and decide, okay, you know what? I really have nothing. This is a false rally, or what you want to call a sucker's rally, what you want to call a B wave, what you want to call a counter correction. And then you go into the final step, the final aspect of the larger zigzag correction. Okay, now let's talk about altcoins. And by the way, just throwing in an indicator here on the daily time frame, our stochastic RSI indicator, stochastic RSI momentum indicator on the daily is almost overheated. So that kind of supports our thesis of this is not the rally people think it is. People think it's just going to go and break. No, 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 no. This is likely going to come down. Again, I've been saying this for months. For those of you who criticize, hey man, you've been wrong. I actually haven't. I've been wrong about a bunch of things in my life. This isn't one of them. I've been absolutely spot the fuck on with this call. But the hows, yeah, from time to time, I misread how it's going to happen. But understand what we're doing here, please. And please pay attention, because it's not that complicated. All right? Now let's go into altcoins, because altcoins are a different story. While Bitcoin has been going up not gradually, Bitcoin's been going up from about, 16? Was it 16? Yeah, 16K to 100K Bitcoin did in 2 years. Altcoins haven't done much of anything. And this is the big thing in crypto. Most people are like, well, where are the altcoins? What's going on with the altcoins? Again, February 2nd, we had this capitulative wick down to the bottom. And where's my pen? Capitulative wicks signify the end of a trend and the beginning of a reversal. What follows are accumulations or some sort of consolidations to switch the direction of the trend. So you go down, and that capitulative wick with a big wick, right? So like, a bullish hammer, that typically denotes the end of a trend. And then you see consolidation and then reversal. That's what we're reading in altcoin. So again, the what? Correct. In that you're more likely than not looking at the end of a trend right here. All right, the end of this trend in particular. And now you're looking at a reversal here. Now it's a question of how exactly is this consolidation channel going to look like? How exactly is this accumulation channel going to look like? I hope everybody understands. Like, some people who just tune in, they find the video on YouTube. YouTube serves them the video. This guy is saying on the thumbnail, Bitcoin is going to do this, Bitcoin is going to do that. He's an idiot. He doesn't know what he's talking about. Figure out what people are talking about. I'm typically, and most decent analysts should get the what. The what is pretty straightforward. Technical analysis provides a decent idea as to what is going to happen. The how, yes, it does as well, but then you have to jump down on the smaller time frames, and it's more hit or miss because there's so many permutations and combinations, especially when you're dealing with corrective price action. When we're going to go into impulse, Still, there are many variations impulse can take. It's going to be a lot easier to start playing genie, to start crystal balling levels and time, even like for corrections. You'll see different story altogether. Corrective price action is another beast in and of itself. Like it's completely different level of difficulty. Okay, so again, we're looking at how and what we want to see for altcoins in this channel is what we have seen. Okay, we've seen a maintenance of a support and a maintenance of a resistance, and we've tested support once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. It looks close to ready. It looks close to ready. Am I saying that this is exactly when it's going to happen? I don't know that. I wish I did. I promise I wish I did. But it looks close to ready given all of the tests of the bottom support. Now we started moving up, hit our head at the midline. We should come back down ever so slightly, at least a little bit, reclaim the top, test the midline once again, and move. Again, it's channel trading 101. If you know your basics, if you know your fundamentals, how price action matriculates through a channel in distribution, in accumulation, right? Basically, how to channel trade. You know what wicks look like, doji wicks, what hammer wicks look like. You know your basic stuff. You can apply it to so many different scenarios. You get enough chart hours. You can do all of this on your own. I'm not special in that respect. It's just, I'm telling you a lot of the same stuff. For those of you who watch regularly, you'll hear me say the same things over and over and over again. I'm using the same skills. Channel trading 101. This is what I'm looking for to give me a hint as to when this accumulation is going to end, right? We've been in this since February 2nd, so that's about a month, a little over a month at this point. That was the capitulative wick. You played at the top. You came back down to the bottom. You tested the bottom a few times. Tested the top once again. You came back to the bottom. You have to make your way up to the top, back to the midline before you leave. That move right here will let you know, more likely than not, this is over. If you get a move to the top and then back to the midline. So watch out for that. That is the more refined read on the market as to how, when you ask, when are altcoins going to finally run? Look at the TOTAL3 aggregate chart and watch this range. When that, what I just said happens, you'll know we're ready to go. And that should happen soon based off of what's happening with Bitcoin, because once again, if you zoom out, okay, zoom out on the high time frame, there's nowhere else to go. We are on support, right? Look at this 1,000-day formation of an inverse head and shoulders bullish reversal pattern broken out and retested, duly retested with 3, not 1, not 2, but 3 weekly candles retesting the midline, or not the midline, the neckline of that 1,000-day pattern. That tells you that this pattern is confirmed. Again, this is basic technical analysis. Inverse head and shoulders, something you learn on day 1. And break out from the mid, or I keep saying midline, break out from the neckline, retest the neckline to confirm the pattern. That is basic technical analysis. That's exactly what's happening. There should be no confusion as to what's going on. Again, I go back to the basics. Everything should be basic. The simplest basic, and I really like how simple some things are in technical analysis, and that's usually where I really dig my sword in. I'll die on that hill because the read is so simple. And when it's really simple, you know it's elegant and it's likely going to happen. The question is, when? So people saying altcoins aren't going to move. What are you looking at? That's bad technical analysis. If you're looking at this chart and you're telling me altcoins aren't going to move, it's obvious. Anybody can tell it's going to move. Now, who can answer when it's going to move, how it's going to move? That's a different story. I hope everybody understands this. And don't take my word for it. Go back. If you don't know anything about technical analysis, go on Investopedia. Go ask ChatGPT what an inverse head and shoulder bullish reversal pattern is, how it forms, what confirms it, all that stuff. This is readily available on the internet. You can check for yourself. Don't believe me. Don't believe any other person on YouTube selling you technical analysis, telling you that this is going to happen, that's going to happen. Use these ideas to confirm what you may believe, and then do your own research. That's the best way. Do your own research. And if it makes sense, then you go with that. If it doesn't make sense, use your better judgment. That's what I'll always say, you know? So I'm seeing altcoins very soon going up only because Bitcoin is where it's at and there's nowhere else to go. This is support. This is as support as you can get. There's no breaking down from this, probabilistically speaking, right? High degree of probability, 98, 99% of probability, you're going up. And the next target for this is very simply, again, this is simple technical analysis, pattern analysis. The height of this inverse head and shoulder superimposed from the side of breakout gives you your target, and that target is up here, okay? And I actually put it at this purple line around $3.72 trillion. Of course, this is an aggregate sum for altcoins. And how did I get that? Well, two things. One, I just measured the height of this inverse head and shoulders. As you do, you measure the head, which gives you the target distance, right? Once you identify the neckline, and the neckline is identifiable by these wicks, price is showing you exactly where the neckline is. You superimpose it here, and then here you have something that you've been forming for about 7-8 years, this diagonal resistance. So you have two really, really good indications of where this is going to break out to, right? Right here, and then right here. That gives you a confluence right here. And then why do I have it here? Well, I did some, that's another story. I get into the weeds with Fibonacci telling me that 3.72 is the minimum target. And that's typically what you see with these breakouts. In my experience, I've always seen breakouts wick above the ultimate resistance show strength, especially in a bullish trend. So I do expect that slight wick above that 7-year diagonal resistance, after which I expect a bigger move down, bigger than most people expect, back to the midline of this 500-day green channel. Okay, so that's basically my analysis for altcoins. Very, very soon I expect this move to happen, and in aggregate you're looking at a 5x, because that's 350% from where we're at right now to that purple line. 350%, that's about anywhere between a 4x and a 5x, right? Because 3x is 300% is 4x, 400% is 5x, so it's between 300 and 400%. So that is between a 4 and a 5x of the price. If that's the aggregate, do expect some lower market cap altcoins to do 10, 12x, no problem. I think Ethereum, last I checked, was doing a 7, 8x. So that's my analysis, guys. I can't post every day. I do have private client one-on-ones. Those of you in the crypto mentorship, crypto portfolio consultation and mentorship service, you know, there's a lot to be done, right? I have to do reports, analysis, meetings, you know, that's 1 to 2 hours every month with each and every client. So like I have to prioritize that, but I do understand that this channel is important, and I do value your membership to the channel. And so I will post videos as soon as I'm able, but I can't do one every day. Although I say it's a daily analysis, kind of, right? So please bear with me. Guys, I hope this was helpful. I hope this was useful. Like, share, and subscribe if you got value. Consider tipping me by Litecoin, Venmo, Cash App. and signing up for that crypto portfolio consultation and mentorship service all at the pin
Seems I
comment
wake
below.
in the days
Take
while
care,
the world
and
spins
goodbye.
without me. Arrived at the fork in the road, could turn back, repeat the same story, or march forward and embrace change and reflect upon his glory. I'm a selfish man, therein lies the whole problem. Torn between my actions and the will of my heart. I had to take it all apart to see where I stood as a man, to depart from this world and leave it in his hands. Come on. Yeah.
And it looks like I'm heading for the gold, y'all. Touring on a pothole road, y'all. I get it even if I didn't fit in, winning right up to the end, and like I didn't even know, y'all. I had Pop's genetics, working hard never to get it, like shit it better than letting life get the best of my efforts. Instead I dedicated to bettering my steps, measuring investments, watch me do it to the death, y'all.